Yes, we feel we've had a very confident week this week. There's now a real possibility of a Labour government at the next election, but we are not complacent about that. But we've seen a very united front here, a good atmosphere here at conference. And that's because I think both we are coming up with the big ideas to deal with the problems the country faces, but we also now feel, I think, a heavy responsibility on our shoulders that people need an alternative to this government. People want someone else to vote for because they can see that the economy is going in the wrong direction and the policies being pursued by this government are not benefiting ordinary working people but are benefiting those at the top. So we've got a responsibility now to make sure that we are setting out those policies, those priorities, and that we are fit to govern and ready to govern. And I think that's been on display this week.
Good atmosphere in a good conference, but somewhat punctuated by that news yesterday, those comments from Rupa Huq calling Kwasi Kwarteng superficially black. How did you feel when you heard that she'd made those comments?
Well, I think those comments are wrong. They're racist, and they were incredibly stupid comments to make. And that's why Rupa has both apologised, but also she's now been suspended as a Labour MP because Keir Starmer and the Chief Whip and others in the Labour Party want to send a very clear message that those comments are unacceptable and won't be tolerated. But I don't think they should take away from what has been an incredibly important week for Labour, what was a big speech from Keir Starmer yesterday that really got the crowd going. But I think will have also engaged people watching, your viewers and others as well. I had lots of messages from my constituents who were really impressed with Keir's speech, not just how he performed it and what he said, but the content of it and the policies that he's coming up with. And I think people now have got a really clear alternative vision to the one that the Conservatives are offering.
I'm just interested, I want to ask a bit more about Rupa Huq because I just want to know why she said those things and, whether or not there is, as many suspect, this is a view that is held by some on the left and how you go about changing that. I mean, she's not a stupid woman. This came from somewhere. What's your understanding of why she said it and what she meant by it?
Well, I'm not even going to begin to try and justify her comments because they're not comments I would ever make and they're not comments that I agree with. So you'll have to ask her. But they are, I think her apology says everything, which is that these are comments she totally regrets making and she shouldn't have made, and they are wrong. And I don't think we should look any deeper into that. We can draw a line under that. And as I say, Keir is very quick to act in these situations, and he's very clear about what he expects from Labour MPs, from members of the Shadow Cabinet and indeed party members, because Keir has spent the last 2 years rooting out anti-Semitism in our party and other racism in our party, and he's not going to put that at risk by allowing these sorts of comments to go without sanction, and that's why he stepped in very quickly to deal with them.
To be clear and briefly, you think she's alone in holding those views within your party?
Well, they're not views that I share, and they're not views that I've heard expressed by anybody else. So I don't think they're reflective of anything else. And I think what you can be reassured by is that quick and clear action was taken. And that's the thing that people should look into and analyse and be clear that that's the view of the Labour Party, and that's the vast majority view of Labour Party members as well.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, or some people, are saying, Lucy, that this is a problem with the left. They're not just looking at it as an isolation case of one MP saying it. They're saying the left has a problem with people of colour exhibiting conservative views coming from a conservative background. Is that true?
Well, I don't have a problem with that. I think, look at the diversity at the top of the Conservative Party, and actually we probably have further to go in that ourselves in the Labour Party. The top of the Conservative Party is perhaps more diverse than the top of the Labour Party in some respects. But, look, I understand why you're asking me these questions, but I think really the vast majority of your viewers are far more concerned now about how they're going to be paying their energy bills. Yes, they're going to get capped, but they're still a lot higher than they were this time last year. Their food bills are going up, and they're about to see a lot of their mortgage rates going up as well. And these are not just global events. We are feeling these much more profoundly in this country because of some of the decisions that this government has taken. And I actually think they are the important issues to debate in politics right now, if you don't mind me saying.